So in the last video about this truck, I had mentioned that I had contacted the guy that was parting out the same year of truck in a crew cab configuration, and he had a really nice interior. I think the one seat might have a stain on it or something, but the fabric is in good shape, and it's a cloth. It's the same basic colors as my other Dodge, only it is actually a much nicer interior, next level up. Mine is a manual driver and passenger seat. The parts ones I'm getting, this is a power seat. I'm getting his front seats and the back seats both, so they'll all be matching cloth seats. I'm also getting his headliner. His headliner is slightly different. He has a monitor right here that I don't have, so I'll have to get that from him. I'm getting his radio. I'm going to try and get this trim because his is nicer. I'm getting all the door panels because his are in much better shape than mine. Mine are pretty dried, and save my wife some time cleaning. And they're also a two-tone color, like the upgrade, which matches the interior. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I'm getting the carpet. He has black carpet, and it looks like it's in good shape. His seats are slightly different because he has electric shift four-wheel drive. I have lever shift, so he has a cup holder right here on the front of his seat, that on this center, that I may have to take off. I'm not really concerned about that. He also has the tip-em that I want, and new visors. I'm taking his visors because these ones are kind of cruddy. I'm just going to save my wife a lot of time. I'm probably going to try and get all the plastic pieces and the door sills. I don't know if I'll use the black carpet or not, but I'm going to get it just in case. His seat is driver power, so I'm getting the wiring harness. I don't know if it's here or not for power seats. Somebody told me it was, and just plugs in. If that's the case, fantastic. Hopefully that's the case for the overhead console too. Maybe that'll work. So what I need to do today is I need to get everything taken out, because the only way to get this headliner out is with all the seats out. He said he's an upholstery guy, and he's actually got it all out already. So the goal today is to get all the headliner, all the plastic, all the seats out, except for, well, I'm going to take the driver's seat out, and I'll put it right back in because I think I need it out to get to the console. And then we're going to pick up any other trinket items he may have that would make this nicer. The reason I'm getting the door panels is, one, they're not worn like this, and two is they are the upgraded, or it has a different color inlay in here that matches the seats. So that'll be a nice upgrade, just like my other one, my other Dodge. I'm going to try and get the sill panels too, because these are scratched up and worn pretty good. You know, just trinket items that, you know, he's probably going to end up throwing that kind of stuff away, so I won't have to give much for it, I think. But we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to get started, get all my stuff out of here, all my tools, all the crap I've been carrying, and get ready to take all this out. Working on the back seat. Got two bolts, one here and one way back in there. That one back in there is kind of, looks like it's encapsulated in the body, so I backed it out a little bit, and I sprayed it with some penetrating oil. Just let it soak while we work on the other ones. So I am told that the harness is here for everything to run the power seats, but boy, it just doesn't look like it's heavy enough wire for it. This one had nothing plugged into it, so I can see the two grounds here, and one's heavier than the other, but I don't see a heavy power wire. I don't know, I guess we'll see. But yeah, you can see it was a farm truck, see all the hay and stuff up in here. Okay, so the center console's out. There was two bolts up underneath that console up here, the plastic part, and that plastic part came off in two pieces. The back section comes off in the front, but now I got to get all the seat belts loose and all the trim off. We're going to pull this rubber mat out so my wife can clean underneath this real good. And I don't know if we're going to do anything else under that or not, like Dynamat or something. I don't know, but we'll keep moving forward. Not exactly sure how it's going to come out.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we got the headliner
I think it
down.
has to stand straight up somehow.
Yeah, well, I can go over there and try to stand it up some.
We got the headliner out. We ended up taking it down and then leaning it down this way. Like, we took it down, left the back up high, brought the front down here, and then got it past the steering wheel, once it was like that, we could stand it up diagonal, basically in that opening, and we took it out this opening, the back door. So now everything's out. We're gonna go ahead and pull this carpet out, and my wife's gonna clean up underneath it and get all this dirt out of here, because that's what rots out trucks really, really quick. You can see how it's starting to get a little rusty there. So we'll get this out next. Victory, a zip tie, and my wife found a quarter. Life is good. Making progress. She's getting it all vacuumed up. It's really not in as bad a shape as I thought it might be, but after she gets all the dust and dirt out of here, then she'll go through and wash everything down real good, including this super dusty back wall. I wonder if I can get that from him, save her a bunch of work, and maybe get this as well. I don't know, we'll see. I got all the door panels off, and I got the switches plugged back in, so when I get up there, the idea is to get the headliner put in while I'm there, and then I'll just go ahead and hang all the door panels, make sure everything's okay. And his carpet, I'm gonna go ahead and lay it down in here. I'm gonna have to cut around that. I'm not real crazy about it, but it is what it is. And then I'll put all the seats in. I don't have to put the seats in 100%, but it's really that easy just to do. I'll put all the trim pieces back in once I get home. I won't waste time up there. But anyways, I've got the bezel around the radio ready to come off. It's just snapped into place. All the screws are out, so I can change that out real quick. I just don't want to have that dangling the whole way there, because I got to drive about an hour and a half to where it's at. But I'm coming along, and I'll have to put the the driver's seat back in and plug it in. Otherwise, we'll have a seatbelt alarm going off constantly, I bet. We missed this. This was on the headliner going to the third brake light, and I didn't pull this down and unplug it, and I should have. So I probably ought to do that too while I'm thinking of it. This is why it's important to go as far as we do. All that underneath there, get trap moisture. You can end up with electrical problems in here in these wires, so that's why it's so important to go as far as you can and get all that mud out of there. Plus, that'll just rot out the floor. Right, lady?
Right. Plus, it's gross.
Nice hoodie.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah. It ain't warm today.
Well, the hoodie's warm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's chilly today. I got the door panels done. She's got the floor just about finished up. Gotta let this all dry out real good. And we're ready to go, I think. I'm headed out today to go get the parts for the Dodge. I had planned on taking the Dodge itself, but I went out this morning to start it, and unfortunately it started just fine, but the instrument cluster lit up like a Christmas tree. Every malfunction indicator was on: the airbag, brake light, check engine light, I don't even recall what else, low fuel light, the fuel level gauge, your fuel gauge didn't work. Nothing else, no gauges worked, and it brought up the charge light as well, and it said no bus. And what that basically means is we have no communication between the instrument cluster and like the PCM. So if you think of it like this, the instrument cluster has power, and it can do the basic functions, but it relies on the signal or the information to come from the PCM to the cluster to know where to put the gauges and where they should be. And that all comes off of what's called a CAN bus. So the CAN bus is a twisted pair of wires, okay, that all of the modules, computers on a vehicle communicate with the powertrain control module. So if you think of the CAN bus and it's connected, it's that two wire twisted pair that every module communicates with. Imagine having basically it's an information highway. So you have two lanes that are going on there. One is high, one is low, and every module is able to send signals back and forth to the PCM on those two wires. Every one of them. When you lose communication, it can't send anything back to the cluster to make it work. So that could be a problem in the cluster itself not working. It could be a problem in the wiring from the cluster to the TIPM, to the module, the power ECM, the PCM, or it could be the TIPM PCM itself. So we just have to find out what it is. Now I'm going up here to get parts, and this guy has what he believes is a good TIPM that hadn't given any troubles and no corrosion issues, but we'll inspect it real good. Most times if you buy it from, I bought them brand new from Dodge, I've never had to have them flashed. I don't know about used. I think used, it's probably got a VIN number encoded in it, and it may need to be flashed by the dealer, but at the very least it may start up and show that the CAN bus works. So we're gonna give it a shot, and he says it's good, he guarantees it's good, and the guy sees pretty decent, so I'm not concerned. So we're gonna take the van, and I've got it emptied out, so hopefully we have enough room back there to bring back everything that I'm getting. The headliner is going to be the hardest part, because this van is not as wide as that truck, so it's going to have to sit at an angle somehow. So I'm working on the headliner, and our headliner had one dome light in the middle, his had one in the back and one in the front, and it also had provisions for a power slider and then your garage door openers, and then it also has lights on the mirrors of the visors. So we got the visors, and my problem with the CAN bus ended up being in the headliner, because sometimes there's a module up there that it has to communicate with, compass maybe, I don't know, but the CAN bus, these two twisted pairs you see here, if it's not being used, it comes up, turns back around, and comes back on that side to complete the CAN bus, because the CAN bus has to be terminated. If it's open, then there's no communication. So now that that's back in, I think everything's working. When I first turned it on, it said service 4-wheel drive, like his TIPM had something goofy going on. We have our wait to start. You can see all our gauges are back. We're full on fuel, temperature, volt gauge is working, and I'll have to find out. Well, I know what these are. These are memory codes from the CAN bus being open, so we'll delete that and we'll keep going. We got somebody. We don't need them black ones, because the headliners. This headliner has this bracket in it. It has those black things are in there. That's what holds those up.
Well, I just remembered that it fell out of the other.
Yeah. So we got his carpet. His had the storage wells in the back, and I got them as well. But I'll have to take these out to use them. These are access panels that are bolted in place and seam sealed, so that'll take a little bit to get done. And I have to cut out where my 4-wheel drive goes through, my 4-wheel drive shifter, because mine's lever shift. I'll have to cut that out. We got the seats. Seats are in good shape. His had airbags in the sides, and we don't have provisions for that, so we'll get rid of that on both of them. They're in good shape. Driver's side is power. Got his console, and his had 12-volt plug inside here, and not only does it fold up like this, but underneath here there's another storage bin, which we didn't have, now we do. And I got a couple other trinket items. All this plastic trim, he's like, if you want it, just take it, because it's just going to go in the trash. So I took all of that. I figured we could match that up to ours and see which one's in better condition. We'll use that. And the visors here, they got lights in them there, which mine didn't.
And I got these trims because mine is the lower grade ones. It has a cargo light. It's either cargo light or fog light. I don't know. I'm assuming it's cargo light. And these adapter for the radio. Not really sure. That must have just been a... Huh. Oh. Okay. Wonder if that's for the satellite radio. Might be. I don't know. We'll look into that. But there's those drops, and then I got that upgraded center trim here. It'll have this button here, but we won't be able to use it because the inverter for this is somewhere else. Tire light load inflate. We may just change this out completely. And I don't have a choice about this because it's molded this way. Over here, this one is we can take the switch out and put the pocket in here. This side you can't, so I may just have to leave that. That's okay. And then we got the upgraded radio. It's a much nicer radio. And then all the seats and all the door panels and the tip them. We got to tip them too. So we're going to start putting them in, and it should be a much nicer truck when we're done. Going to be much better, isn't it?
Yeah, this isn't lined up right, so I can't get
Okay.
the screw started. I need help. I don't know what to do with it.
I traded these out. This one has the cargo light and the push button for fog lights, I think it is. We don't have either one of those, but we can have the option because the load light's back here. The cargo light, we can add that. I got that side swapped out already, and now I'm working on the main bezel here in the radio, which means I have to change out a few pieces because they're different, being this is a cabin chassis. So mine has upfitter switches here, and it has tow and haul and exhaust brake and four-way flashers and a cubby hole here. This one doesn't have the upfitters, and it had the four-wheel drive indicator or switch here, which mine's the lever shift, so we pulled this pocket out of this one. And this one has traction control and the 110 plug here for the inverter and tire light load inflation something. So we're just going to change these out. I don't so much care about this because I'm probably not going to use it, but he did cut the wiring so I could add an inverter later if I wanted, because at 150 watts you're talking like that could produce like 8 amps or something like that. It's not a lot. 150 divided by 120 or 115, so I guess it's more than that. It'd be like 12 amps, 11 amps, something like that. Anyways, so I'm going to change these over. They're just screwed in from the backside. He kept his controls because he had just bought them, and he made me a good deal on these pieces, so let's get them swapped over. We got all that swapped out and put back in the original. Now I know the radio is not a factory radio, it's an aftermarket, but it's definitely better than what we had. And now you can see how we got the nice upgraded trim and trim around there. I still have to put the screws in up here. I got them over there, and there's a little thing that goes in there on the top. But, nice improvement. She's coming right along. Alright, so we got all of the door panels on. Everything's all back together, looking pretty good. Very happy so far. So the next step is I have to put the carpet in. I can't put the carpet in until I remove these access panels right here, which I can only imagine how much fun they're going to be. Because that is seam sealer all the way around there. So I'll probably have to take a razor knife and cut it, and then get these bolts out, which I'm sure those are going to be a treat. Rusty down below. Okay. Well, I guess that's what's next, but I'm very happy with the upgrade so far. I mean, I would like to have had the lighter colored dash too, but I wasn't going to go through all that work. And I really don't want to put those storage trays down in here, but in order to use that black carpet, that's what I have to do. And my DEF tank is right in the way, and that's going to create problems, which is why they probably never put them in this truck as a cabin chassis. As a pickup truck, I bet the tank is probably underneath the bed, but when it's a cabin chassis, they need the frame rails to be clear for upfits, so they can't have that stuff hanging back here. It's not a good idea. So I'm gonna get a utility knife. I'm gonna start over there and get all that seam sealer cut off and see if we can get these bolts out. I imagine these are gonna be stuck. I don't think it's gonna be easy. So I got the cover plate out, so it reveals, this is kind of rusty here. I've got all the seam sealer taken off. So now I'm gonna take a wire wheel, clean this all up around here, prime it, and put some paint on it before we actually put that in there, because I really don't want this to rust from underneath. I've already got rust issues. That's a little better. Just some primer on there. Get a couple coats of that, and then I'll get some paint on it and we'll put it in. So while it's drying, we'll go to the other side and work on it. It's amazing what a little bit of time with a wire wheel will do, and a little bit of primer. Yeah. Okay, let's get the other side. So what I've decided to do is leave the def tank in place, and I'm going to source all the pieces we need to put this back the way it was supposed to be, take it off its diet. So what I'm going to do is take the little compartment that slides down in here. It's about 10 or 12 inches long. I'm just going to take the metal compartment. I'm going to take the insulation off of it. It separates here. I'm going to cut it however deep I can get it. I'm just going to cut it off right here. I'm going to weld a plate to the inside and then make it fit smooth and stick it down in there. I have to have this because the lid will not close on its trim if it's flat, because I was just going to put this back in, but you can see the latch needs some room, so it'll have to be in there. And I need a way to seal up the bottom. I was just going to put this in and just put the lid over top of it and not use it, but I guess we'll have to do that instead. So there's how much I got to cut off. That line right here is all that's going to be left, but it is what it is. It's not very thick either, so welding this together and making it watertight is going to be a trick, that's for sure. So I got the piece of metal I'm going to put in the bottom. It's just a piece of 1/8 inch flat plate, and I've traced it on the inside, and I've also traced the outside. That way it gives me an idea of how far I need to go, because I'm going to probably flap this outside line right till it's gone all the way around. And I'm going to try and get it to where I'm welding on the thick metal and it's just touching the thin. This isn't going to be easy for me. So I turned the HTP welder down low and welded on the steel and let it overflow onto the thin metal, and it seemed to work. I mean, I ground it flat so it'll fit, but I think I'm alright with that. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe it down, prime it and paint it. Got a little bit of it coming through on the inside, but not horrible. I'm gonna silicone this bead all the way around here anyways, just to keep water from getting in. So I think it'll do. Ain't much of a pocket, that's for sure, but whatever. Got both sides all painted up. It's got 2 coats of paint on it now. That's the closest red I had. Actually, it's the only red I had. It'll be fine. I don't have any black paint to paint that bucket, so I'm gonna have to go get some. I got it primed, and I'm gonna get some silicone. We're going to silicone that bucket in, both of them, to seal out the water from the floor. So these are speedy nuts. They're nuts that are basically welded to the bottom of the body, and they haven't been used before. They were just empty, so we're going to run a tap through them and clean them up. And then I found some bolts in my bolt bin, so we can real easy like start it. And we'll clean all the crud out of it. I didn't know if there was actually good threads in here, or if it was one of them setups where you use one of them triangle pointed bolts that cuts its threads as it goes. So I thought I'd use a tap instead of a thread chaser. Yeah, that'll do. Alright, now we just got to do the rest of them. And we're going to let this paint dry, and we'll put it all together. So I decided to go ahead and prime it and paint it, and then put bed liner on it. I think that'll do. pretty good, make it nice and durable. So we're gonna wait for that to dry and put it in. I got them both in and sealed up around with silicone. So now we're ready to put the carpet in. All right. Now the next thing is, well, we got everything bolted in. As you can see, all the seats are in now. She's got some spot cleaning to do here and there, and then she'll put dressing on stuff that's cracked. It was the best of the two we had, but I'll have to see if I can find another one. But it's nice to have the power seat, because the other one was sitting so low because it was just worn down. But now that we have this nice interior, it just makes everything else that's worn show up even more. You know, it needs cleaned up here. The pedals need cleaned still, but it's coming along. It's a huge improvement from what it was, for sure. Nice to have that console. This flips up, and then you have storage under here too. That's nice. Got all the back seats. Everything's in, the door panels are in, everything works like it's supposed to, except for the power seat. The power seat does not have the wiring to it to run the power seat. So I ran jumpers just to get it to where we needed it and get it in, but hey, it's a far cry better. I mean, I can actually sit up and see outside here, and we got our visors in and mirrors. All the dome lights work. Of course, this is kind of a worthless switch here because we don't have the power rear slider in the back. The wiring is there for it. You just have to get the other portion, you know, the slider itself, and put it in. But yeah, everything's in. Looks pretty good, and the stereo works well. So far, so good. But it's funny how now all the things like this worn. Look how much dirtier this looks now than it did before. But my wife will go over and completely clean everything up for its final. And this was in really bad shape. It looks a lot better now. And I got this boot pulled up because she was cleaning it. And I got an output here for the radio. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that out or just tuck it. I stuck it out just because I didn't know if we'd need it or have a use for it. But I don't know. I don't even listen to the radio. I just like to listen to the truck. But it's much better. Much better. I'm very happy with this. Now we just get it cleaned up the rest of the way, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So this is what started it all. Was this seat was all chewed up, and they wanted $300 to fix this one, and to fix that side right there. If I took both seats in, taken apart, it was $150 to fix that one. So, you know, between the two, what is that? $350 was it? That's about $500 right there. The back seat was okay. Just missing the headrest in the middle. The center console was okay, but I am much happier with what we got now, that's for sure. So she has finished cleaning the inside and putting the dressing on, and it really turned out well. The dash is all clean now. I'm gonna have to take the cluster apart, get the dust from behind the lens, take it apart so she can clean it, but it really turned out well. We're very happy with it. Taking a work truck and making it a little bit nicer work truck. The only thing it didn't work was the power seat. There was not power in that connector. There was power down there for the 12-volt charger for inside the console. I didn't want to run new wires all the way up and all that, so what I did was tagged off of that. I'm the only guy driving this. That power seat's not going to move very much at all, ever. So it's on a fuse. I found the fuse out there. I know which one it is, so we'll be okay. But all in all, it looks pretty good. This seat's been repaired. This fabric is different. They repaired it with something a little more substantial than what this is. This is pretty thin. This is thicker. So I think that's probably a good idea. Even though it doesn't match perfectly, I'm okay with it. It's still a work truck. Headliner's all in. Everything works. I should have got his mirror because that mirror's kind of boogered up, but I didn't even think about it, didn't even notice it. His was an Outlander, so he had the chrome door handles, and I kind of wish I had got them. But got the factory mats in. This worked out just fine. I'm okay with that. It's not much of a storage pocket, but at least I was able to use that carpet, and I'm pretty happy about that, because now it is so much quieter inside this truck. This is nice. I should have got his, whatever this stuff is. I didn't. Doesn't mean I can't. Just means I probably won't at this point, but I'm very happy. So much nicer. Very, very happy. Walk around the other side. I know it's just a work truck and I want something I get in and get dirty, but I do like a certain level of niceness, I guess. See the difference here. You can see how much deeper that one is, but just what it is. Something you gotta live with. Back seats in really nice shape. Passenger side seats perfect with no issues. Got our ductwork all hooked up. Yeah. All the weather stripping door seals are back in. And then we also have factory Dodge floor mats, rubber floor mats that go over top of these, so that'll be really nice. I'm very, very happy. I know I've said that a lot, but very happy with transformation. I don't know, this will be my daily driver now, not just a work truck. I'll drive it everywhere because I just like it. So the next thing I need is a new grill and a bumper. So that's the next two things I'm looking at. They had it stuck apparently, and looks like a chain came back, hit it here, here, and here, and put a little dent in the hood right there. And busted the grill. So I need a new grill and a new bumper. That'll be next. That's the two things I'm looking for. I don't know what we're going to do about the body work yet, and until I'm certain of what I want to do, I'm doing nothing. We're just going to let it go. So that's it for this one for right now. So if you're looking to upgrade your Dodge Interior, you see what we went through to do ours. Really, it was pretty simple. We didn't have a terrible amount of time in it. We spent more time doing it because we cleaned everything up as we went, made some changes. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.